Welcome to W&L Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. Coming up shortly, we'll speak with head swimming coach Gardner, but with me now in the studio is Katie Wilds, junior basketball captain from Massapequa Park, New York. Katie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
The Generals won their first 4 games of the season, the first time that's ever happened in program history. What has led to such a successful start?
I think that we went into the season with a really positive attitude. The lineup is completely different just because we have so many players on the court. We have a ton of freshmen and another sophomore that joined us. So I think a lot of it was integrating them in and just really getting excited for each game. We knew we had nothing to lose going into the season. I think we worked really hard over preseason, over summer. People clearly put in a lot of work, and I think that's what led to our success in the beginning of the season, and hopefully will continue for the rest of it.
As you mentioned, you have so many players on the court. There are 18 Generals on the roster this year. There were 10 most of last season, and rarely were all 10 healthy at the same time. How much have practices and games changed because of this depth?
I think the biggest change that we see is the competitiveness in practice. It's we're always going at it with one another in such a positive way, and we're really good at giving criticism to each other and taking it as well. And I mean, last year we had to have our coaches constantly practicing with us, and so it was a little difficult to go 5-on-5 or anything like that. And now we're able to have 3 teams of 5, which switches up the practice extremely in a lot of ways. And it's helpful also. Sometimes you get to do a lot of observing while you're on the sidelines watching the other players play. And I think that everyone has their strengths, and once we figure out exactly how to use them to our advantage, I think we can give a lot of surprises in the ODAC.
W&L was picked to finish 9th in the ODAC preseason coaches poll. As you said, you expect to surprise some teams as conference play goes along.
I think that it's almost a little bit of an advantage because we know what we're capable of, and we know how successful we can be when we work to our best ability. And I think that a lot of teams are going to underestimate us and not see what's exactly coming. And I think that a lot of them, we're going to be competitive every single time we get on the court. And once we figure out, like we said, the lineups, the chemistry that we just constantly have flowing on our team, it's going to be really, really nice.
The Generals lost their ODAC opener at Virginia Wesleyan just before Thanksgiving. What did the game tell you that the team needs to improve upon as the year goes along?
I think for a lot of us, we had seen that team before and we'd struggled in the past with them. I think maybe that might have been a little intimidating, but for a lot of us also it was just the fact that it was their first ODAC game and real competition. I think our energy was a little bit low, and we were going into break, and we just really have to focus on our plays, our communication, just stepping it up on the court and showing up every single time that we are there. And I think once we do that and slow everything down, do exactly what Coach Clancy and Pam tell us to do, we'll get a lot of wins.
Katie, thanks for joining us. Best of luck this year.
Thank you for having me.
I'm joined now by head swimming coach Gardner. Cami, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you.
Overall, how have the W&L teams performed through the first 2 months of the season?
I've been incredibly happy with how we've performed as a team in the pool and outside of the pool. We started the year a week later because we wanted to make sure they had a good academic foundation going into the season, and we didn't have that stress. So we were a week behind when we started, but they jumped right into it. We're a very young program, and we relied on our freshmen making those transitions very quickly. And with the foundation set by previous teams and the leadership of the captains, the freshmen have really just hit the ground running, and we couldn't be happier with their performance. I think on deck we are showing a united front, and I think the kids are really enjoying it, so they're swimming fast.
In February, the ODAC will sponsor a men's swimming championship for the first time. How will that change the way that the Generals approach the postseason?
I don't think it really changes how we approach the postseason. We train together as one team. We really don't see ourselves as a separate men's team and a separate women's team. I think it will enhance our experience just because we do compete together all year long, and in the past we have gone to different championships, and it's kind of like leaving your better half at home, and it's really difficult. So I think with the ability to have the men and women shave and taper and go to one meet, I think it's going to benefit our kids. I think they're going to swim incredibly well, and I think they're really going to enjoy the camaraderie that they have all year long at the championship meet.
What are the team's goals for the 2015 portion of the schedule?
Again, I don't think our goals are any different than what our goals were this semester. We really look at process goals in our program, and we don't want to skip a step. We want to pay attention to detail, and we obviously want to win the conference meet. We want to swim fast, and I think this year the reality of going to nationals is there. So we want to achieve those goals. But I think as long as we keep our minds focused and our heads down, we'll achieve everything we're looking to achieve.
Before exams and the holiday break, W&L travels to Ashland for the Randolph-Macon Invitational this weekend. How important is it to finish off the calendar year with a good meet?
Well, we'd like to finish it off with a good meet. Our focus going into Thanksgiving was the F&M meet, which is a prelim final meet, and the kids really blew the doors off that meet as far as I'm concerned. So this week has been tough training. It's going to be a challenge to get up and swim fast again, but I think they're looking forward to it. And you know, we started off this semester with a great meet, so we're really looking forward to ending this semester with a great meet.
Cami, thanks for joining us here. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. Men's and women's swimming will compete in the Randolph-Macon Invitational, which starts on Friday. On Saturday, wrestling travels to the Ohio Northern Invitational, while the track and field teams begin the indoor season at the Christopher Newport Holiday Open. And the basketball teams will play host to Bridgewater in an ODAC doubleheader at the Warner Center. The women's game tips at 2, followed by the men's contest at 4. For W&L Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.